Oh, look at that. I'm in the middle. Uh-oh, uh-oh.
We made it work.
Welcome aboard. We did. And this is another Freestyle Friday on July 23rd. Where's the time going of 2021? I'm Chauncey, your host, joined by the regular, the boss, Brandy. Hey, Brandy, how's it going?
I'm well, Chauncey. How you doing?
I'm here. You're forcing me in the middle. That's okay. And we're joined by an esteemed guest, Cynthia Williamson of the Creators Lab. Now, Cynthia, don't you help these creators, well, I should say us creators, manage, navigate all kinds of different things? Because people try to tell you you should focus on one thing. No.
It's the Creatives Lab.
Oh, the Creatives Lab. Very good.
And yes, I help them. Most creatives are multi-passionate, multi-creatives. I am a multi-creative. So the Creatives Lab is really geared toward helping them focus on what their true gifts are without having to choose, just being a specialist in one area. Be a specialist in multiple areas because that's where we're truly gifted.
Yeah, very good. And then that helps you to create multiple streams of income.
Which is what we like.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
I'm really trying to, because I love this Chauncey sandwich we got going on here. And I'm like, are me and Brandy pumpernickel, or like what kind of bread are we? Like,
what a Cheesecake Factory loaf. I don't know what that is, but I want to be that loaf.
What? That might be
What?
it.
Cheesecake Factory?
Without the ash. I'm so glad that we don't have like the built-in ash that bread normally has.
This is the Outback Steakhouse loaf. Which one?
Oh, I don't know. Those are both good choices.
Because we're toasted. So I'm just like,
Mm-hmm. Well, because at Cheesecake Factory, you get a choice. See, Brandy, you could get the lighter one.
Oh, I always got the dark one. So I didn't even realize there was a choice. And I think the Cheesecake Factory one has oats on it.
The oats. That's what I consider, But yeah.
It's been a long time since I've been in Cheesecake Factory. So with that said, talking about different bread loaves and lights and darks and all other kinds of stuff, what about your nails? Do you want them to be light? Do you want them to be dark? Regardless, who's doing it? Well, according to a Mashable article, you could get it done by a robot. That's right, my friends. Quick, cheap, and guilt-inducing, they call it. 10 minutes is how long it took. $7.99. Are they coming for us humans? Cynthia, as our guest, start us off. What are your thoughts and feelings about having a robot do your nails?
Personally, I'm not here for it. I grew up with the Jetsons, but I am not quite ready for that. I think that there's really no concern about coming for people's jobs. Speaking as, again, I'm multi-creative. I'm a licensed cosmetologist within the beauty industry. So people are going to always look for the same things no matter what, either speed, comfort, customer service, luxury. I want to be treated well. So depending on your day, depending on your week, depending on your schedule, which I'm sure we're going to end up talking about later about scheduling stuff, depending on the schedule, if I need 10 minutes to get something done very quickly and I find it to be a pleasant, convenient experience, it's going to happen. But if I want someone to be rubbing all up on my hand, if I need my hands rubbed and, then they're going to go up the, whatever it is. I think that when I have the time, make the time for that luxury experience or for that more customer-centered experience, I'm going to go for person-to-person experience. But if it really is about, holy crap, Brandy called me 10 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago and said, hey, what are you doing? Let's go meet so-and-so. And I'm just like, oh, crap, what am I going to do? I'll give it a try. So I think it just depends on what's happening with you at the time.
It's options. And Brandy, what about you? I know you're all about the robots. So go ahead, tell us.
I must go. I like the option of the robots, but like I really agree with Cynthia. It depends depends on what type of experience I'm after. I love the fact that I can get my nails done in 10 minutes and for less than $10. Like, who doesn't love that? And I'd be more interested in seeing what these things cost for me to just have one in my house. I don't have to leave the house. Just get the robot machine in my house. I just do whatever on my own. So that for me is really interesting.
Listen,
you read my mind.
Introvert. That was the introvert dream that you just said. Have it in my house. Spend less than $10. Economics? Count me in.
That's right. And the thing is, when it comes to technology, robots, and so on, whenever there's a concern about taking jobs, there always are jobs created. Like what you were saying, Cynthia, it could turn into a luxury service for doing nails, and then you can charge more. You also can, of course, like you just said, Brandy, have it in house. Then people have to make it and distribute it. So, it's always a concern when people disrupt certain sectors, but you never know what's going to be on the other side. Speaking of disruption,
We need disruption.
we have two more forms of disruption. One of them might be the good side, and the other might be the bad. So let's start with the good. And this is from a New York Times article. The title is The Case for Scheduling Everything. Because during the pandemic, we're working from home. No one can see you. You just put on your calendar, you're available now. You're not available then because you're going out who knows where. They can't see you. But now if we're coming back, we're going to be in person again. The question for many people is, well, is the scheduling thing something I should keep? Should I have me time in my schedule? Will that be able to help us to be more productive? So, Brandy, why don't you start us with that as a whisperer of entrepreneurs? What would you whisper to a business owner in regard to scheduling and their clients, employees, and so on?
Yeah, so I'm of the mindset that I call it the feed yourself first strategy. So I believe that you put me time into the schedule first, and then you build around it. Now, I don't know how an employer rather, may feel about that, but I think that makes for a more effective employee. And if that employee is able to get their work done and take care of themselves, what difference does it make at the end of the day? And if we really think about how much time we got out of people in the office space, let's be real. The first 30 minutes, you're just kicking it in the freaking break room talking about
30
from the night. Listen, at least you're just kicking it in the break room, talking about getting coffee, putting food in the refrigerator, or reorganizing food that's been thrown in the refrigerator, standing at the water cooler, talking about nonsense. People smoke every hour for 15 minutes. I mean, there we go right there. You only got 45 minutes an hour.
This sounds like some people's full day.
Okay. I mean, so there's this weird idea that, people at home, like, you're not getting the most out of them. But if you really look at how much time people really worked in the office, I mean, you got 3 good hours out of that 8 there, for being really honest. One of the hours is lunch. And nobody, I mean, let's be real. So you really only thought it was 7. So I'm all for self-care when it comes to scheduling first. And I'm of the philosophy is if you get your work done, do whatever you want within reason.
Yeah. And Cynthia, from the creative's angle, isn't this like a necessity for a creative to make sure that they have that time scheduled along with everything else they're juggling?
I do, Chauncey. I think that the key word here is one of the things you said earlier, which is options. It's important that we're not even post-pandemic. I can't even say post-pandemic because we're not really out of the pandemic. Okay, so mid-pandemic, options are important. And I think that companies have learned that we have to move toward a more heart-centered way of doing business with people. And it already started before, especially speaking as an introvert. Look at Sephora. Sephora put out 2 baskets, one for introverts, one for if you didn't want to be asked questions, you pick up a certain color basket and you can just kind of walk around and shop. And if you needed some help, you raised your hand. If you picked up the other basket, that means that you want people to come over and fawn over you and ask you questions and how can I help you? And now, after working from home, you have people who realize this is exactly what I need. I need to be home. I need to create my own schedule. I need some heart-centered time. To me personally, I may never go back to an office again because I set up a whole meditation corner. Because sometimes things can get so stressful that you need to take 10 minutes. So I want to do that 10-minute out of the office and go, it is not my business. How, that little thing that they have on Instagram, it is not my business. So with the more heart-centered way of being either working for a company or an entrepreneur, there's going to be, I think, more people wanting to stay home, more people having a hybrid experience where they stay home and go to the office, but being able to just schedule what they do throughout the day that is as convenient as possible for them to be productive in their work.
Yeah. And like you're saying, you keep coming back to the introversion point, which is so important because the thing is, going to work, being around a lot of people is a dream for extroverts. So there you go. Introverts, no. And then there are people, ambiverts, who are in the middle.
Right.
So look, if you can, let your introverts work from home. If you can, let your extroverts come in every day. If you can, let your ambiverts do both.
And if they live in the same house, we're kicking the extroverts out just so that we could have peace. And extroverts want to be out.
Yes. And maybe, they could have gone out to WeWork, but now they can't. So let's move to our final topic.
They still can.
Oh, well, yeah, that's right. They still can. Yes. So there's an ABC News report on the rise and fall of WeWork. There's actually a documentary that came out this year about this as well. So they went from a $50 billion valuation to nothing. Now, their former founder, their former CEO, Adam Newman, look, this is an office space leasing company. That's what it is. But he's selling it more of an Airbnb thing, a more tech thing to get a higher valuation. And then he was using the money to, line his pockets and do other stuff. So this has been a mess of epic proportions. The question is, can WeWork survive this? And will the extroverts, I should say, come? Cynthia, keep talking to us about WeWork. What are your thoughts about WeWork? Would you use it as an introvert to meet with extroverts, or would you go somewhere else?
As the news is supposed to do, they're going to take information and an article and kind of sensationalize what's been happening with a company or with whatever. But the bottom line here is that WeWork is space, it's real estate. This is not a hard thing to pivot at all. Real estate is never going anywhere. And if I remember, I've been to a few WeWork offices, and they didn't just have you going in to work in a tiny office. Sometimes it was about a small event. Sometimes it was about, a reading or a meeting, a quick meeting. This stuff is not going anywhere. There were people who were home. Again, this is about the change during and after the pandemic. There were people at home whose children could not go to school and they could not get any work done. And they were offered spaces to go to where they can at least sit for an hour to try to get something done that wasn't their office, that wasn't chaotic, where they can have a little peace and focus. WeWork is still going to be able to offer this. Everything that they were offering before, they're going to offer again. And imagine that they brand it in a way where, especially because you want to be in smaller groups of people now. People don't want to be in larger offices with more people who still don't understand how to, cover their mouths when they sneeze and cough and wash their hands. But that's a whole other thing.
Are we still there?
We are.
This, come on.
Listen, you guys need to plan a whole show about that again. Trust me, because I already see it. Why can't you still continue to stand 6 feet apart from me at the store? Why are you still up on me? So This is
you're an introvert. See, that's an introvert talking.
you know what? I would like to say that it's only an introvert, but it's also a health conscious person.
Yes.
You know,
but they tend to go together now because, you know, some people say the origin of introversion is about disease. Yeah.
Well,
disease tolerance.
Germaphobe. And, you know, of course, for introverts, it's about energy. So even if you're the cleanest person, I could love you very much, but if your energy is not right, could you go on somewhere over there? Go over there somewhere. Get yourself together until we can come back as close as possible. I still don't want you up on me, you know, in a public setting. So I don't think that this is going to be a hard pivot for WeWork at all. There's still going to be a need for people to get out of the house, get away from people, find a space to be able to get their work done. Freelancers, whatever your category, WeWork can just rebrand, repivot, and not that much, and still, you know, thrive and flourish.
Yeah. And I think an important point you're making, Cynthia, is, okay, if you have a scandal in the company and that scandal's embodied in a certain person or certain people, if you still have value in your company, you can say exeunt to those people and still hold that. So, Brandy, I know you love WeWork and you love real estate. So are you going to continue to go to WeWork, Brandy, after all of this? Are you going to be what Cynthia is predicting, the supporter of real estate? Come on, Brandy. We rely on you. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I'm waiting for the WeWork kitchen hybrid. Like, so WeWork is actually in the process of doing a WeWork like for food businesses that has like a kitchen piece, and you have areas where you can test products and use their facility.
That is amazing. That is an amazing idea.
Yeah, and New York is one of the test cities. I think they want to do it in like 3, and New York was one of them. And so for me, like Cynthia says it. I mean, yeah, the CEO was crazy. These people want crazy. These investors look for these weird people to fund, and then
to be a CEO. Like, I mean, like, what kind of personality is going to say, I'm going to found the company and be a CEO and raise billions of dollars?
I don't think that anybody is shocked by what happened.
No.
This is not anything new. Tell me this has never happened before.
It's never happened before.
And I will not be surprised if they're right back at him in a few years saying, hey, what do you have up your sleeve next?
Yeah, he's gonna have another company. Yeah. He'll be what do you call it? Having surf teachers and servants again with his other new company. Like this, I mean, this has nothing to do with WeWork.
Servants.
Everything to do with
this is about sensationalizing everything and giving us some news or something to talk about in a negative light, when it's just like, people, no, this is business, and business has not changed the way that it's done things. You know, they might put up more controls for certain people, but other than that, he'll be right back on it.
I mean, what's cool is that we want, to be honest with you, you want founders like that. These investors want people like that seem like, you know, they're disruptors, they're innovators, they're off the wall, they're doing this stuff we never heard of. They can sell anything. Like this real estate company and flip to a tech company. And you know what I mean? Like that's, people do that all the time. In business, you have to be able to do that. And you can't beat up the person who played the game to win because you don't like what he's doing after the fact.
Right. Yeah. It's marketing at its best.
It is. And this is a great place to end our discussion, because I think the overall theme is embrace change. And if something looks bad, look for the good. It's probably there. So we have all kinds of weird things happening in this world. It'll continue, but we do need crazy people to come up with crazy ideas that might work. Then all of us who are responsible can make it work. So that's it, everybody. We thank you, Cynthia, for joining us from the Creatives Lab. It was great having you as a guest.
I really enjoyed it.
We'll certainly have you back.
Okay.
And with that, everybody, for me, for Brandy, for Sustain It TV, we thank you for watching, and that's the end of Freestyle Friday. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Later.